My experience in learning how the dogs can alert to hypoglycemia or low blood sugar in diabetics actually started back in 1999 when I was training a guide dog puppy for the blind. The dog was pawing at me to wake up. And I didn't know what was really wrong. I recognized that I was having a blood sugar problem, and eventually I was able to get up and get some help. And very literally, that dog may have saved my life that night. Diabetes is actually a autoimmune disease where the pancreas stops producing insulin or doesn't produce enough insulin depending on the type of diabetes that you have. But in type 1 diabetics, which is the program that we are operating our dogs for, the blood sugar drops down into dangerous levels and it becomes acute, and a low enough blood sugar would eventually result in a coma or death. The training process for the Dogs for Diabetics dogs is anywhere from 4 months to a year. And what we do is we start out with what we call bucket training, and essentially we're using different stations, and the dogs are required to go around and sniff the different stations and the different smells. And we teach them that the smell from hypoglycemia or from a diabetic is the smell that they're after. And we actually do this as a form of discrimination where we narrow it down and narrow it down even further and further and have them pick out the proper one. After we have bucket training, we then have to reassociate that smell with a person and teach the dog that they now need to smell that hypoglycemia, low blood sugar smell on a person and not in buckets. Most of the dogs now are trained to pick up what we call a brinksel. It's almost like a little toy that they hold in their mouth. And they do that in addition to making physical contact with the diabetic. And the reason they do this is it helps distinguish the dog bumping you to go out and play or to be relieved or some other type of attention that the dog may want. So the brinksel in their mouth is actually a sure sign that the dog is detecting the fact that your blood sugar is dropping. It's been fun to see some of the children that have received our dogs, and oftentimes they start out by telling us, this isn't the dog that I wanted, or this isn't the dog that I expected. And it only takes a day or two and a couple of alerts on the child before they come back to us and say, my dog is wonderful, it's a perfect match. The Dogs for Diabetics program serves a wide variety of people. We run anywhere from 12 years of age on up into their 70s, and the program is open to any race, different disabilities, any sexual orientation, different diversities of backgrounds, religions, all those types of things. In fact, we encourage diversity within our program. Scott was one of our earliest candidates and earliest applicants that we had in the program, and he was very, very persistent with me. He emailed and called me on a regular basis before we even had dogs available. And so it's been exciting to see him get paired up with a dog named Nico, and he actually waited for his dog for well over a year.
My name is Scott McPherson. I definitely think that Nico has helped me keep better track of my health and has saved my life in numerous instances. He's woken me up at very severe lows when I wasn't really coherent in thinking about it. I think the lowest that he's alerted was like 36 or something. I think the Dogs for Diabetics does an absolutely wonderful thing. They place dogs with people that do an amazing service, both medically and emotionally, for free. And no one gets paid in the organization. It's an amazing service that people do for other people. It's awesome.
Where I see Dogs for Diabetics going over the next 5 or 10 years is expanding out of the Northern California area into Southern California and some areas in the West. And at some point, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years from now, I'd like to see a program that you see similar to Guide Dogs for the Blind, where we can provide dogs to diabetics throughout the United States and possibly Canada, and also provide the follow-up services that are required in order to place those dogs in different areas of the country. The Dogs for Diabetics program is about dogs that save lives.